My whole young life I watched the show Fairly Odd Parents on Nickelodeon. It made me laugh, and it was my favorite show. Wanda with the little pink curl like Elvis, her uptight attitude, Cosmo, his absolute retardedness, and Timmy always being tortured by Vicky. I loved it, but when I got older, I developed a theory. A very disturbing theory. Timmy Turner, before he got his Fairly Odd Parents, his parents didn't pay attention to him, or the babysitter they left him with. The babysitter, Vicky, was looking for a few extra bucks. To the parents, she looked nice because they are completely oblivious. But every day she tortures Timmy with fire, chains, and other things. That's safe for children to watch. And when it happens, he begins going to school, and he learns what imagination is. So he thinks up the Fairly Odd Parents, Cosmo and Wanda. His teacher, Mr. Crocker, is a lunatic who believes Timmy is telling the truth. He lives with his mother and hates everyone, thus the criminal of the show. But he believes Timmy, and he spends the rest of his life trying to capture fairies that aren't even there. If the fairies are imaginary, why does the world always seem in danger? He imagines this too. Most of the problems start in the middle of a boring day, and when they are over, nobody else but Crocker, Timmy, and the fairies remember the disruption. And since the fairies are imaginary, the rule that once he grows up they will go away applies. Vicky, she's always giving Timmy a hard time because she doesn't want to babysit, but she needs the extra money. She gets bored, always hurrying the little boy. If she's a teenager, why does she need the extra money? Do you notice how afraid her parents are of her? But yet, her little sister doesn't flinch. Little girls don't understand what drugs do. Basically, her parents realize that Vicky, Icky Vicky, with the hat, shirt, scraggy hair, and tight pants, is a meth head. She is also a prostitute, which is why she almost never in true love in the show. Her parents are scared she'll go overboard, and she takes all her emotions that the drugs give out on Timmy. The parents may never ever glance Timmy's way, feeding him cereal every morning, sitting on the couch instead of talking to their own child. Why? Because by the time they realized that they need to spend more time with their only child, he was lost in his own little fantasy, never to return. They kept trying to talk to Timmy, but as the series progresses, they basically gave up, letting him do whatever he pleases, talking to imaginary things. Cosmo and Wanda, the fairies that always end up saving the day. As the series goes on, Timmy's friends moved farther and farther from him, and he got lonely. Even with magical fairies with every power on earth, his life grew worse. His imagined that Cosmo and Wanda's did too, and he gave them a child called Poof. This makes lots of stories, lots of new adventures that he never really goes on. Poof is always getting Timmy into trouble, and after it all, the episode always ends while he is happy again. But in reality, Timmy never realizes he never leaves his room. He only goes to school, hating the man that he thinks it's telling the truth. He hates him because he realizes deep down inside that the fairies are not real. And he thinks Crocker is mocking him. But Crocker is really insane, making things in his basement, shouting things at random, and eventually following a little boy. So my theory, if you really think about it, makes sense, don't it?